Welcome to Ayat Mohammed and Audrey Pinkovsky's CS102 video on factors. Who cares? I'm just going to start with some brief definitions that are helpful when talking about factors, and then Ayat's going to follow with some examples. First off, the definition of a factor. Factors are numbers you can multiply together to get another number. So it's a number that divides evenly into a larger number. So factoring is the breaking apart of a polynomial into a product of other smaller polynomials. And a polynomial is an algebraic expression with a finite number of terms. So that leads us into monomials, which is an expression of a single term. And they include numbers, whole numbers, and variables that are multiplied together. So an example of this could be 78 x I. A binomial is a polynomial with two terms. So, for example, that would be 2y. A trinomial is a polynomial with three terms. And just kind of as a brief refresher, if I wanted to factor this binomial, I would find the greatest common factor, which would be 2, or the greatest common factor is the biggest number that can go into both of the numbers, which would be 2. So you could pull 2 out and multiply it by 3. And again, for this, we want to find out two numbers that add to get this and multiply to get this. So we have 2 x's for our x squared. And since it's all positive, we just have positive. And then 3 and 2. I'm also going to talk real quick about factoring polynomials within exponents. Again, just a few definitions. We take into consideration 4x squared. The base of this is the x. That's the exponent. The coefficient is this number out front, and the whole term is the 4x. And so there's a couple rules when dealing with exponents. So, like I said, if you have a single base whose exponent happens to be an expression, you can start factoring exponents. So, an example, x 2y plus 2 becomes x 2y or x squared. You can factor these out, and because there's an addition sign, you would multiply. So on the other spectrum, if you do negative, x y minus 2 therefore becomes x to the y divided by x to the 2. And this 2 is not negative because it is on the denominator half of a fraction. So it gets moved down. So next up is Ayat, and she's going to be doing a few more examples.
In my part, I was going to talk about some examples that factoring is a crucial step in order to find the solution for this problem. The first problem will be, first example will be solving a quadratic equation, which is x squared minus 3x minus 4 equals 0. And this example is a trinomial example, as You just heard Audrey explain more about it, but in this example, I will find the final answer for it. By factoring this equation, we will gonna have two parentheses that have inside x plus 1 and x minus 4. Here we're going to get from these two parentheses, we're going to have two solutions for x, which is x could equal minus 1 or x could equal 4. So solution will be, the solution is x equal minus 1, 4. The second example is to be in solving an arithmetic and simplifying fraction. And as an example of this, part of kind of math problems is 2x cubed plus 8x squared divided by 2x squared. We're going to simplify the denominator by factoring the numerator, and find the factors for these two the common greatest factor for 8 and 2, which is 2 and 4, and it's only just 1 because the prime number, and 2. We take the 2 outside the parentheses, and also we factor the x, so we have x squared. Just take this out, so we have only 1x here, plus we take the 2 outside, so we have the 4, and in the denominator we have 2x squared, and we're going to factor these two. So the simplified answer for this equation will going to be x plus 4. Now we use fraction to simplify x 2x quadrant plus 8x squared divided by 2x, and the solution was x plus 4. The last example, in order to solve, use factoring is in solving equations for a variable. As example is a equal 2 squared r plus 2 rh. And now we're going to solve this equation to find for h. First, we're going to factor this part of the equation by taking the factor. We're going to open break parentheses, factor 2 out because we have both on both sides. We're going to factor the by. We take 1, and now we left with 1, and the both are plus h, so we can make plus h a. Two by squared 2 by r parentheses with r. We take the pi, so we just rest with the h. Yeah, square off. just have 1, now we have 1. R, H. Now we're going to factor this, divided both sides by taking this and R. We're going to take this because we're going to solve it for H. We want H by itself. With the difference, it's a positive, so we take it to the other side with the negative side. And now we find the solution for, we find a variable by using factorization. And
yeah, thanks for watching our video. Good luck on the test.